if you do not give up all your possessions. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. As I was running early last evening in an attempt to alleviate extreme grief, I thought it was cool enough that it would be fine. The humidity was devastating. For those who got up this morning and kind of moved around, you experienced the same thing. This was a rough morning. We have thunderstorms coming tonight. I mean, the weather's hot and muggy and it's nasty. But I'm going to talk to you about winterizing your vehicle. Because guess what? It may feel this way right now, but it's coming. Winter is coming. And that survival kit to put in your vehicle is really important. A candle heater, what it basically is an empty metal can that you can put a candle in, can provide a lot of heat in your car. An LED flashlight, a car charger for your cell phone, that absorbent sand, that absorbent stuff, you can use cat litter too, a bag of that for your car so you can put it under your wheels for traction if you need to, maybe a small portable air compressor, also the flat tire fixer stuff that you can plug into your tires to get yourself out of trouble, a folding shovel, an entrenching tool, a warm blanket, a hat and gloves. Have this stuff, this survival kit in your car, because in the winter in Nebraska, if for some reason something happens someplace, we're pretty rural, you can be really by yourself for a very, very long time. It's time to think about that, as difficult as that might be to imagine on a day like this when it's so warm and so muggy. Now, as I was looking through some of these things to prepare for winter, I also discovered what I would suggest perhaps is an excellent, excellent Christmas gift. It fits right into our culture of Christmas. I think it'd be wonderful I can think of some relatives and friends that I may even give this to. It's a new revised cherry-picked Bible. It's another gift. A cherry-picked Bible. It has all the verses in the Bible that are troubling. Took them all out. This thing of love one another, as you've done in the least of these, it's gone. And those other verses about other stuff, when you have the cherry-picked Bible, eat all the shellfish you want. You can have all the tattoos you'd like. It really just doesn't matter because all that stuff is gone. Now, as a benefit, as a plus to this promotional offering of the cherry-picked Bible, there are verses that are highlighted and amplified, made in bold print, larger font. Subservience of women is one of them. So you can make your wife obey by the cherry-picked Bible. And one last addition to the cherry-picked Bible is there are now verses in the gospel that relates to Jesus' promotion of guns, Jesus' words about anti-gay, and Jesus also tells us what truck we should drive. Now, Jesus never said any of those things, but it doesn't really matter because it's the cherry-picked Bible. That would be very popular, I think. Because the truth is, in one way, shape, or form, we all have a cherry-picked Bible. We do. I do. I have verses I like, stories I like, and stories I just really don't want to deal with. Today's story, it's not in the cherry-picked Bible. It's gone. That's a troubling story. Now, here's what I suggest you not do, is at Thanksgiving dinner, take out the Bible when you're ready to prepare for your prayer before the Thanksgiving dinner and read this story. It's not going to go over well, unless you're passive-aggressive and want to get back at Uncle Joe or Aunt Judy because they've done something wrong to you. You know, hate your family. What is he saying here? Not my words, it's Jesus. Sorry, y'all have to leave. It's not going to go over real well. But what Jesus is doing here is employing what's called rabbinic hyperbole. It's a manner of teaching of his day. Let's go to an extreme to make a point. What he's trying to say to the crowds is slow your roll. You think you're going to get exactly what you want in all this. Let me tell you, there's a cost to what I'm talking about. But to make it clear, I'm going to go to an extreme. You've got to sacrifice yourself and everything you think you love if you're going to be a disciple, because it's a cautionary note. Think about that for a moment. It's a cautionary note about what is going to happen. Pick up your cross and follow me. Release your possessions. You can't hang on to anything to be a follower of Christ. Now, we follow the line of reasoning with the cherry-picked Bible. There are some who've also taken this passage, and they haven't eliminated it, but they've toned it down. Well, this release all the possessions, and I've been told this on more than one occasion, that is for a first century crowd, not for us. Jesus is not talking to us or to me specifically about letting go of the possessions. That was then, this is now. Another popular part of the cost of discipleship and take up your cross has been the minimization of what the cross actually is. The cross has become these little troubling things in my life. My cross to bear is if I could just get rid of those 20 extra pounds that I'm carrying around. My cross to bear is if only my adult children would listen to my advice. But it's my cross to bear that they just won't. It's my cross to bear that the pastor picks these unfamiliar hymns that I don't like to sing, but that's my cross to bear. That's not what Jesus is talking about. When Jesus talks about the cross to bear, it's very real, it's very vivid for these people. It's the cross. You get crucified on this, you die on this, and everyone understands it. It's not that kind of minimization. So it made me pause to think for a moment, what does this mean? What is the cross to you and to me? What does that mean? And I came up with some varied ideas. The cross, if you want to follow a theological line of reasoning, atonement theory, the cross is the sign, the place that Jesus had to die so God would be appeased or we would be forgiven of our sins to appease an angry God. That's a thought about what the cross is. The cross is an instrument of destruction that shows us how sinful we are and how our sin can manifest itself even to the point of crucifying the Son of God. The cross is a symbol which some will say doesn't exist any longer because of what happened on Easter morning. But I think it's a valid question to ask what the cross is for you and for me. Because where I arrive with this, what is the cross, is that it is a symbol of life. Because without the cross, without picking up your cross and following, there is no resurrection. Resurrection doesn't exist. There is a choice, and when I think about that, when we talk about the cost of discipleship, of taking up your cross to find life, yes, it is a cost, but the cost is second to the choice. First, it is a choice. Will I accept the terms and conditions outlined by Jesus to become a disciple? Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not, like I was talking about with the kids, I'm not talking about a new form of works righteousness. You have to do these things or you will not receive grace. Grace is there. But we're talking about feeling the full flavor of grace, the fullness of grace that is always available, of making that choice, of Damon deciding no longer to sit in his seat and to come forward and to touch and experience grace in its fullness. That's the cost of all of this. It's surrender. It's letting go into a resurrection that, yes, is promised to come, but also in this moment. It's trusting the guiding hand of God who is love. Capital L, capital O, capital V, capital E. That personification of what God is. Do I trust that? Now let's come back full circle to the winterization kit. If you're winterizing your vehicle because I said you should, okay, that's a reason. Or maybe I'm winterizing my vehicle because I'm afraid, because I don't know what could happen. All right, that's a reason. Or maybe I winterize my vehicle and I actually have this in my vehicle, but I'm going to hide it because people will make fun of me. Come on, after all, cars are new, we've got cell phones, you don't need that kind of thing anymore. Or maybe it's a choice for life. If I have this and something happens, I will live, I will survive, I will move forward, I will continue to enjoy this experience of who I am. That's the connection with this gospel story. The choice, the cost, which can bring suffering, I'll be open about that. is a choice of life, of fullness of life, of resurrection, again, not just in some future time, but resurrection now and here and today, not some faraway place. What it's saying is, what it's asking me, what it's asking you, when it talks about possession and family and all these different things it talks about to figure out what the cost is going to be, is what am I hanging on to tightly that doesn't allow me the full experience of grace? That's what this is. It's an invitation to the cross, to resurrection, to newness of life. It's an invitation to let go of those things, those parts of our being that constrain us, that make us angry, that stir fear, that stir anxiety, and to breathe and to trust and to let go, to receive that wholeness, to become full and complete, not through our own efforts, but as a gift that comes from God. Won't be always applauded. There'll be many around us that say, no, that's not the way to live life. If you don't take yours and hold on tight, you're going to be left behind. It's saying, no, I will never be left behind, for I am now God's. And God's people say,